Welcome to the Fit Life for Busy Parents podcast. My name is Coach Cam, and my mission here is simple. I want to empower you as a busy parent to be able to regain energy, confidence, and identity, regardless of how busy your schedule is, through a series of proven strategies. So, what we are talking about today is the importance as a parent of teaching our kids the right skills to be able to go ahead and live the best life possible. And the number one thing that I feel like I see out here in the world that I want to make sure that I drive home to my kids and make sure that they understand and hopefully teach their kids and maybe other parents pick up along the way, right? Is that it's okay to fail. I think that is one of the biggest things that I started to see during my generation, right? With everybody getting a participation trophy, everybody, it's okay if you lose, it's okay, this, that, and the other, that it's okay to fail, but it also doesn't mean that you're going to get a prize for doing just showing up, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? And this is something that I find very, very big because I feel like it's setting up our kids for failure in the future, that our kids are out here believing that just because I show up, whether I put in any effort ahead of time, whether I game plan, whether I even remotely care about what I'm doing, I'm going to win. I'm going to get a pat on the back and I'm going to get something tangible, right? Whether that's a pizza party, whether that's a trophy, whether that's a t-shirt, whatever. But just because I show up, I'm going to get what I want. And I don't think that that's an accurate way to set up our kids for the future when that isn't the case, right? If you have a job and you just show up and you don't put any prep into, you know, being able to be ready for the job opportunity, right? You don't show up like with any type of game plan of like how you're going to be able to execute what you need to be able to do for that job and show up and really do well for the company, right? If you just show up and just kind of sit around, right, you don't really do much, right? Of course, there's laws and regulations to make sure that they can't just fire you no matter what. But if you don't do the work, you can get fired or miss out on opportunities. And if we're teaching our kids that that's the opposite of the truth, that just by showing up and participating, that you're going to get something, I don't think that's necessarily always a good message to be able to continue to teach our children, right? Because it also leads them into the mistake that if, let's say, again, in that job scenario, right, that they show up, they do the work, and they see people around them getting promotions and getting better, getting more pay or maybe getting opportunities, and they're like, well, what the hell? I work here too, right? Like why is everybody else getting this opportunity? And it's because again, they've been trained, right? That just by showing up, you get a prize, right? And I think it also drives in another factor as well, which is that you have to inherently be good at things, or you shouldn't strive for it, right? You shouldn't work towards getting better, right? And the reason why I say that is because I see that in my kids and also in other kids, right? That I'm seeing out here, going to soccer for the first couple times or going and playing basketball for the first couple times, playing hockey for the first couple times, whatever it would be, right? That they feel like they should just be good at something or like I got to move to something else, right? And I don't think again that's a good message to be sending to our children because that's not how real life works, right? Of course, we all have our different skill sets, right? We all are naturally kind of gifted at certain things. And there's nothing wrong with being able to say, like, hey, I'm pretty good at this and I want to pursue that, right? I don't think that that's a bad message. But I think it is a bad message to believe that I'm already going to be the best at something. And if I'm not the best at something, then I need to go and find something else to be able to become the best at. Meaning that I don't want to put in the work. I don't want to continue to grow and learn the skill. I just want to be the best. And then I'm just sit back, right? Because I'm the best. And I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that that's really how life works. Even if you're an amazing athlete, let's say, right? Like LeBron James or, whoever else you want to say. Maybe it's Michael Jordan. Maybe it's, um, Patrick Mahomes. I don't care who you want to say, right? But someone, right, that's just really, really good at something. They had to still work their way up. They had to put their time in, right? If you want to say someone who's really, really smart, right? Yeah, they might have started off like just kind of learning things a little bit better. They didn't have dyslexia. They didn't have, certain other, developmental delays, right? But at the same time, that smart individual kind of just picks up on things naturally, is going to take that and continue to push, 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 push the boundaries while everybody else is maybe just kind of trying to keep up a little bit, right? Just trying to do a little bit just to kind of skate by. They keep upping the ante, pushing the envelope, and all of a sudden they become the best at what they do, right? And I think that's true for also how life works, right? You don't go into a job and automatically, when you just start off at that job, you're the best of the best, right? You usually have to kind of work your way up. You got to learn what other people do. You got to see what works, what doesn't work, what works well for you. Maybe it doesn't work for other people. Okay, cool. This works for me. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get super proficient at it. I'm going to boom, 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 right? Entrepreneurship. You're not going to immediately open up your business and from day one be booming and everybody's like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. Maybe if you've had a bunch of businesses and you're opening up a tangible, like side business, right, that kind of goes along with it, then sure. But otherwise, you're starting off from ground floor. You're probably gonna have to work your tail off to be able to get up there, right, and be able to go forward with it. Fitness, great example, right? Most people when they start off are not in the greatest of shape. They're not super ripped. They don't have a six pack. They're not super strong, right? But when they go, they have to be okay with the fact that maybe they just start off with the bar. Maybe they're starting off with very, very little dumbbells, or maybe they're using just not cables, bands, right? And just being able to do that. And that's fine. But eventually what they started off warming up with, or I'm sorry, what their heaviest was will become what they're warming up with, right? And then that'll eventually become so ridiculous they won't even warm up with that, right? But again, that's pushing that boundary, continuing to go out there and strive. And I think that that's super, super key for our kids to learn that it's okay to not always get something, right? It's okay to not always be the best at something. It's okay to kind of work your way up. It's okay for other people to beat you, for you to have to learn and come back and redeem yourself, right? I think resiliency is really the key word there that children are not learning from a lot of the protocols and things that help them feel good, sure, which is fine. I mean, we want our kids to be confident. We want them to believe in themselves, but we also don't wanna lie to them that when they come to the real world, they get smacked in the face so hard that they can't recover, right? We need to set a little bit of a reality check so that they will be able to function in society and make sure that they can still go out there and get what they need to get done as well. So, all in all, if you have children, you're watching this, right? Or maybe you're a parent expecting and you're watching this, again, we want to encourage our children. We want them to go out there and do well. We want them to believe in themselves. But we also don't want them to feel like they have to be the best. And if they aren't, then go ahead and do something else, right? Stick with it. Have some resiliency. Have some wherewithal to continue to go past what just is the basic baseline of where you start off at and really strive for things. Be okay with other people beating you and having to come back and having to redeem yourself, right? Be okay with the fact that you're probably going to mess up more times than you're going to win. And that's why we win down the road is because we lose, because we mess up, because we make mistakes, right? But that teaches us to be able to do things later on down the road. So let's continue to turn one day into a lifestyle. Busy parents, this is the Fit Life for Busy Parents podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe and let's go out there and turn one day into a lifestyle.